Ladies and gentlemen, it is that time of the year again. It is time for March Madness, the greatest 2 days of the year. Selection Sunday is a close third, but here we are. We've got our bracket, and this is a tough one. This is one of the better brackets over the last couple of years. This region, the South region, is absolute chaos. The 12 seed, 13 seed, 14 seed, even the 15 seed. Like Bryant, I had to put serious thought into this Bryant-Michigan State game. This is a loaded region. Louisville's an 8. Are you kidding me? Ole Miss is a 6. That's kind of the one spot where it's like, all right, whoever wins this San Diego State-UNC game, they probably got a good chance. You go over here to the East region. This one's a little bit weaker, but still Duke, Arizona, Oregon, Wisconsin, Alabama. Still a really tough region to predict. You go down to the West. You got Florida, who I think, other than Duke, has been the best team in college basketball over the last 2 months. You got UConn, Oklahoma, that's a good 8-9. Memphis, we'll see what happens with Tyrese Hunter. Drake, Missouri, that's a great 6-11. I think 6-11, after this year, 6-11 will be the new 5-12, right, in terms of the upsets. Texas Tech in this region, St. John's. Hey, how about Omaha? And then how about this coaching matchup right here between Bill Self and John Calipari early on. And then down here in the Midwest, you got Houston as the 1 seed. Gonzaga's in this region. High Point. How about look out for High Point? McNeese gets an awful draw. We'll talk about that in a second. Illinois, and then the winner of Texas and Xavier. Kentucky's down here as a 3 seed. I feel like that's a little bit of an overseed. They really shouldn't have beat Oklahoma. They tried to give that one away and then Otego away with the game winner. UCLA, Utah State, that's an interesting one. We'll talk about that. And then you got Tennessee. So let's start up here in the South region. We're going to be giving you everything you need to know about March Madness. I've watched over 3,000 hours of college basketball in the last couple of months. I feel like I could say pretty confidently I, at this point, could be an analyst. I could be on the selection show. I could be on the selection committee, all that stuff. We doubled our bankroll this last week during Champ Week over on the sports book. So today, we are bringing you bracketology, right? Don't overthink it. We're going to Auburn. I don't care who wins this Alabama State game. Louisville-Creighton. Now, this is a fun game because Louisville probably should be much higher, but Creighton has great interior play with Ryan Kalkbrenner. They got 2 good guards, and they have shooting around. If they had Pop Isaacs, this would be a really good Creighton team. Unfortunately, Creighton just gets a really, really tough draw. And this is, the 12-15 game. So you want to get this one correct. It's the first game of the day. You don't want to start out like me last year going 0-for-1 with just a terrible pick, taking Mississippi State over Michigan State. We're going Louisville here. Creighton's a good squad. They've got good coaching. Like we said, they have Kalkbrenner inside, but I think Louisville, the ACC is bad, right? Especially the bottom half. It is horrific. Miami, unfortunately, my NC State Wolfpack, they are complete jokes. They wouldn't even be a winning team in like the Patriot League or something like that. So what I'm saying, though, is the top half of the ACC with Duke, who I think is the best team in the country. You got Louisville, you got Clemson. Those are 3 really good teams. And if Louisville is like a 5-6 seed, I might be taking them to the Elite 8. Unfortunately, they got to play Auburn here in the second round. But the ACC, the top half at least, is not as bad. Carolina's also been hot lately, and that hurts to say as a State fan. Now, this is a game I spent a lot of time on. Michigan and UC San Diego. Because UC San Diego, they really turn you over. They don't have great length in the front court, but their backcourt, they got 6'5", 6'6", and 6'4" starting. The 6'4" dude leads the league in steals and can really shoot the ball. Aniwa Tate Jones, interesting name, but he leads this San Diego team, as you can see here. And then Tyler McGee, that's the guy I'm talking about. He can really shoot it, but they just don't have any real post play. Their post is 6'8", and Michigan's got Area 51 with Golden and Danny Wolf. 2 7-footers. This is a really tough draw for UC San Diego, and it's unfortunate because this is a team that, could have pulled off an upset had they gotten the right draw. They didn't get the right draw. Michigan went through a little skid, but now I think they're back, and they look really good. Just won the Big Ten Tournament Championship with Danny Wolf. Now, the thing that could hurt them, if UC San Diego does win this game, it will be because they forced a ton of turnovers. Michigan is prone to turnovers with Danny Wolf, who averages like 6 a game, it feels like, over the last month or so. But Trey Donaldson's been playing really well. They got Namari Burnett. they got some dudes over in Michigan. I'm going to take them. This is another game. Like I said, this is a really tough region here, but I think Texas A&M does pull it out. I went back and forth. I really wanted to pick Yale here. If you pick Yale, I have no problems with this. Polakaitis, I believe is how you pronounce his name. He's crazy good, averages like 20 points a game. You got Bez Mbang, who is a great defender, great scorer. Townsend, Nick Townsend's another really good player they got. They got some dudes here at Yale, but yeah, Polakaitis, I think is how you say his name. Averages like 19 a game. He's ridiculous. And they're really explosive offensively. However, it's a tough draw with A&M, who has been up and down. They did just lose to Texas, but I don't think, Yale does have a 7-footer, which could help them out. And hey, like I said, if you pick Yale, I have no problems. I'm just going with Texas A&M. I think they're more athletic, much longer, and they have good guard play with Phelps and Wade Taylor. So I'm going to take Texas A&M. Like I said, if you take Yale, no problems with it whatsoever. Here, I'm taking UNC. Like I said, this hurts me. As a State fan, this hurts me. Taking UNC to beat San Diego State and then also beat Ole Miss. Look, UNC has looked really good as of late. RJ Davis was in a funk for the entire year. He looks like the old RJ Davis again. And that's what counts the most in March, is if you're playing good as of late. I don't care about what happened in November. It doesn't matter. That was 4 months ago. I care about how you're playing right now. RJ Davis is playing really good right now. Van Allen Lubin has been really good the last 2 games of the ACC tournament where they played Wake and Duke. He was really good. And they were going to beat Duke if Jalen Withers, I don't know what he was doing. As a fifth-year senior, you can't do that. Luckily, they do get into the tournament. Like I said, I'm taking them to cover against San Diego State, and then I think they beat Ole Miss. They pull the upset. The 11 seeds, first 4 in, there's always at least one, and I think there might be 2 this year. Now, for Iowa State, Lipscomb's good. They have a really, really good 6'8" forward here I'm not going to lie, I don't know how to say his name, but he's really good. I've watched him. He's pretty solid. Keyshawn Gilbert is out for the year for Iowa State, so take that into account. Tamin Lipsey should be back for the tournament, kind of up in the air, but you'll see in a second. This kind of factors into my second round matchup here for Iowa State, but I'm going to go Iowa State here. Don't overthink this too much. Lipscomb, good squad, but Momcilovic is back. Iowa State has good posts. I don't think Lipscomb can deal with that. And, of course, they got the guard play. Curtis Jones is really, really solid. Marquette, New Mexico. This is a fun one because you talk about guard play a lot in March. Donovan Dent versus Cam Jones, 2 of the best guards in the country. And Donovan Dent can hoop, if you didn't know. They also have True Washington, brother of Ty Washington, and then Nelly Jr. Joseph, who is a pretty solid post. As for Marquette, I don't see them losing this game. Cam Jones is really good. They got Joplin, Stevie Mitchell, an experienced core. Ben Gold's there. They got a lot of scorers, and I don't think that they managed to lose this game. New Mexico's good. New Mexico they were in the tournament last year. I don't think they got smoked last year by Clemson. I don't think they, and maybe this is a little biased from last year because I did take New Mexico to the Sweet 16 last year, and Vegas was favoring them last year. But I think Marquette takes care of this one. I really like Cam Jones. I really like David Joplin. Guys they got in Marquette. Shaka Smart knows how to win in March. Give me Marquette. And then finally, like I said, this Bryant team is good, right? They got this dude here, Rafael Pinzon, who averages 18.5 a game, can absolutely fill it up. And then Earl Timberlake, who was on the Miami team that went to the Final Four. However, I can't take him against Michigan State. Michigan State is really good. That would be insane to take Bryant over Michigan State. I will probably take them to cover, though. I do think this will be a much closer game than people think, and one that people are like, what in the world is happening when Bryant is either winning or only down 2 or 4 points at halftime. This is a Bryant team that stuck with Houston earlier in the season for the first 3/4 of that game, and they didn't even have Earl Timberlake. This is a good Bryant team. This is one of the longest mid-majors in the country. They got 6'5", 6'6", a 6'7" shooter, 6'8", and a 6'10" post. This is a good Bryant team. Michigan State wins this one, though. Now to the second round. As much as I'd like to take Louisville, as much as Auburn has been stumbling down the stretch, I'm going to take Auburn in what is a much closer game than a lot of people think, right? Rain Smith should be back for the tournament. Chucky Hepburn. This is a good Louisville team. I just don't like that, Chucky's only 6'2", Rain's only 6'2", and then they got good forwards with Terrence Edwards Jr. and Javon Hadley, but still, I'm still going to take Auburn here. This has been the best team in the country all year long. Wouldn't be shocked if Louisville pulls it off because Auburn's been really inconsistent as of late, and I wouldn't hate you if you wanted to take Louisville over Auburn here, but I got to go Auburn. And then Michigan over Texas A&M. I mean, again, same thing that happened with UC San Diego. Texas A&M, they try to turn you over. They got 2 shot chuckers, and then everybody else just kind of rebounds and plays their role. I'm going to have to go Michigan here with Danny Wolf and Vlad Golden. I was really high on Michigan early on. Then they lost like 4 in a row, and I got really low on them. Now I'm really high on them again. I think Michigan makes it to the Sweet 16, where unfortunately they finally meet their match down low with Dylan Cardwell and Janai Broome. Auburn has much better guards with Pettiford, Miles Kelly, Chad Baker-Mazara. I think Auburn comes into March Madness. They've lost 3 of 4. They went out early last year. I think they come in very motivated, very locked in, and I think they make an Elite 8 run. Now, as for down here, this is where, like I said, I have UNC beating San Diego State, and then I have them beating Iowa State, because Iowa State, they are without Keyshawn Gilbert, their best defender. They might be without Tamin Lipsey for the opening weekend. That's your 2 best defenders right there. Yes, they have Momcilovic. Yes, they have Curtis Jones. They don't really play defense without Lipsey and Keyshawn Gilbert. Inside, they got some dudes, Deshaun Jackson and Joshua Jefferson, I believe is his name. I might be saying that. That might be wrong. I think that's his name down low. But again, good Iowa State team. Wouldn't hate it if you take them, obviously, to the Sweet 16. I'm going to go UNC. I don't think they're quite as good as last year. Defensively, they're definitely not as good as last year. They've been dealing with injuries all year long, and they're still not healthy. So I'll take UNC here. If San Diego State loses, or San Diego State wins in the first round, then we're rethinking this one and probably taking Iowa State because those are 2 very similar teams, and I think Iowa State's better at what they do than San Diego State. Now down here, like I said, wouldn't hate you if you were to take Marquette. But I think Michigan State, everybody knows it goes January, February, Izzo, right? Tom Izzo knows how to get it done in March. Never smart to bet against him before like the Elite 8. So I'm going to take Michigan State. This isn't his most talented team, but Jace Richardson has come on as of late. They're looking really good. If you look at like their last, well, it doesn't show you their last few games, but they're looking very solid as of late. By the way, tournament challenge, come on now. None of this does really anything for me. I mean, I feel like we could get it a little bit better, but this helps a little bit. But I feel like our metrics, the March Madness site has a much better metrics system there to help you out. Now, to the Sweet 16 here between Michigan State and UNC. I am going to end UNC's Cinderella's run. It hurts me to take them this far, but once again, Michigan State, I don't think you can bet against Tom Izzo in March before the Sweet 16. Now, I know he has been upset early a time or 2, but I think, down the stretch, his teams have gotten better. This team can shoot it much better than last year's squad when they played UNC. So I think I would take Michigan State over UNC there. And then I'm also going to take them to beat Auburn. Partly because I don't want to have 3 1 seeds in my Final Four. And the other part is because Auburn, they've kind of been exposed down the stretch. I don't think Michigan or Louisville has the tools to really cash in on what Alabama, what A&M, and Tennessee were able to do to Auburn, and I don't think they have the horses to be able to do to Auburn what those teams did to Auburn. Michigan State, however, does. So I'm going to take Michigan State to win the South region, and if Bryant beats them in the first round, like I said could happen, I would be, it'd be awful. Now, to the East region. Duke, we don't even need to talk about this. Baylor and Mississippi State. This is a fun game. I'm going to go Baylor. Mississippi State is good. They have a better squad than last year. But at the end of the day, when your lead guard, your best scorer is 5'10", no offense to Josh Hubbard, but when your lead scorer is 5'10", it is tough to win in March in this day and age. It's happened before, right? We've seen Kemba Walker, guys like that, take their squad to the promised land. I don't think Josh Hubbard is Kemba Walker, first of all. And second of all, it's a much different game than it was 15 years ago when that happened. So give me Baylor to beat Mississippi State. Now, give me Oregon over Liberty. Liberty's fun and all, but like I said, their lead guards are 5'10 and 5'11. Yes, Sheldstad's only 6 foot, but, I mean, you're talking about a 7-footer in Nate Biddle, 6'10" in TJ Bamba. And, they got Supreme Cook down there. They've got good wings as well. I'm going to take Oregon. This is an Oregon team that I think has underachieved. This is a very talented Oregon team. Tough draw for Liberty at the 12th seed. Akron, Arizona. Akron's cool and all. I'm going to take Arizona. Big comeback to beat Miami, Ohio in their conference championship, but Arizona just has guard play. Yes, Arizona's not been great in March. I think maybe this is the year they can finally break over the little edge they've been on here and, take out Akron, beat Oregon. We'll see. They kind of achieved a little bit last year, but I think, and yeah, I'll go ahead and talk about this one. I think they beat Oregon. I think they have the better guards. Vesar down low can match up with Nate Biddle. And I think, Shellstad's good, but like I said, he's small. You got 6'4", 6'4", and 6'5" in Arizona's backcourt compared to Shellstad, who's 6 foot, and then their other guard is like 6'1". So I'm going to take them, and then also give me Duke. Shouldn't have to do much explaining here. Baylor might not even beat Mississippi State, and this is a home game for Duke up in Raleigh. So give me that one. Now we got BYU VCU, and this is a really, really tough one. I wanted to take VCU because they've got great guards. Max Shuga is a dog. They got, some good wings with Jack Clark, former NC State Wolfpacker. He can shoot it a little bit. They got a good inside presence. They got Joe here. They got a good squad, but BYU has been one of the hottest teams in the country as of late. If you don't have the identity that Houston does, which is a really long, really athletic defensive team, you can't really slow down this BYU team. VCU just doesn't have the tools, once again, like we talked about with Michigan and Louisville. I don't think they have the tools to pull off the upset on this side of the bracket. And then Wisconsin, I would take them over Montana. I don't think Montana is that good. Now, this is a game I originally had Vanderbilt. I'm going to switch it, though. I am going to go St. Mary. Vanderbilt, they're cool and all, but 13 of their 20 wins came in the non-conference where they played nobody, right? They lost to a couple mid-majors early on. And they're not great away from home. We saw them drop the first round of the SEC tournament. They're not good away from home. If they do pull an upset, it is at home. I think the bottom half of the SEC is a little bit overrated, excuse me. And, the top half of the SEC is really dang good. The bottom half, I don't think is that good. You're talking about your Vanderbilts, your Ole Misses, teams like that. I don't think they're that good. I think they're a little bit overrated from playing in a conference that has, 4 of the top 10 teams in the country in it. So we're going to go St. Mary's here. They're really big, and they control the pace, which, could work very well for you in March, but it could also come back to bite you. I don't think it comes back to bite you in this one. I'm taking St. Mary's, although I could see Vanderbilt winning this one for sure, and then Bama over Robert Morris, Bama over St. Mary's. Completely different contrast of styles here. St. Mary's doesn't have the horses to keep up with Alabama. Alabama might win this one by 30. They're going to get out of transition. They're going to run. They're going to score a lot. St. Mary's is not going to score a lot. They're not programmed to play from behind. Alabama's going to get up early and never look back. And then we got BYU, Wisconsin here. This is a different Wisconsin team. Usually Wisconsin comes into March and you're thinking overrated. This team's not very good. Completely different this year. Give me Wisconsin to beat BYU, who, like I said, has been one of the hottest teams in the country, but I don't think they can quite keep up with Tanjay and company. It will be an interesting game, though, because I think BYU definitely could pull this upset. Do I want to pick it? No, because I think Wisconsin is really good this year, and they are definitely a Sweet 16 team. We're going to take Alabama over Wisconsin. Just the offense is so good for Bama. I don't think Wisconsin can keep up with Tanjay and company. And again, I don't know if they beat BYU. BYU is a really good squad, but BYU, I don't know if they beat VCU, although I do think they will win that one pretty convincingly. And then Duke, Arizona. We've seen this before. Duke went in with a bunch of freshmen in their first month of college basketball and beat Arizona at Arizona. You can say all you want. This is a different Arizona team. Come on. Duke's the best team in the country, and it's not really close. Florida is making a case, but I think Duke, they get Cooper Flagg back. They just won the ACC tournament without Cooper Flagg. Now you get Con Knipple, who played like a number one option in the ACC tournament. Some of your depth, got experience in big-time games, and now you're getting Cooper Flagg back. Yeah. Give me Duke to win this region. I don't think there's a lot of competition for them in this region. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I got Duke winning that one pretty easily. Then we got Houston over SIUE. We're going to take Gonzaga over Georgia. Again, I think the bottom half of the SEC is a little bit overrated just because they were able to pick up some wins over top teams. Because the SEC is such a gauntlet, Georgia was able to defend their home court a couple of times, but I don't think they're very good away from home. So give me Gonzaga to win that one. Now, everybody's saying I'm crazy for taking Clemson over McNeese State. I think you're crazy for thinking that Clemson's not a Sweet 16 team at least, right? They got a top 25 offense and a top 25 defense in KenPom. McNeese could have pulled an upset. This is like we talked about with UC San Diego. If they got the right draw, they could have pulled an upset. Unfortunately, they don't have a single player over 6'8", and Clemson's front line, Victor Locken is 7 foot. Ian Shefflin is 6'8", but packs a punch. And you've got Chauncey Wiggins, who's 6'10". It's a tough Clemson team to play against. And, they also have the best player in this game in Chase Hunter, who's a dog. No Dylan Hunter will hurt them, but I don't think they're going to have to play Purdue. I think High Point takes off Purdue. This is one of my only upsets. I went through, did my bracket, and I went back. I was like, dang, I only have 4 or 5 upsets. That's not good. But I do think High Point wins this one. Yeah, we've only got 2 upsets so far. It's pretty much chalk so far. It's kind of bad. But I think High Point wins this one. This is one of the upsets you're looking at here, where they got Kesey Gaffa, Demarion Williams, who is a legit 6'7" wing that can score it. I don't know if Purdue has anybody to stop him. They do have a 7-footer that can match up with Trey Kaufman-Renn. They do have a couple of guys on the front line there. Braden Smith, he's only 6 foot, right? Smaller backcourt. Kesey Gaffa at 6'2". He's not huge by any means, but I think that they can take down Purdue. And then I'm going to go another upset. I think whoever wins this Texas Xavier game takes out Illinois, and I think they move on here. Kentucky beats Troy. I haven't really watched the Trojans too much. I will go back and look at that, but actually, yeah, I did. They got Tatum Conway. This is a decent Troy team. They got some length. I don't think they got anything for Otega Owe and company, though. I think Kentucky wins this one in what is a somewhat close game. Yeah, I don't know why I said I haven't watched Troy. I definitely did watch their conference championship game. And then UCLA, Utah State. Utah State's got a couple of good guards. Ian Martinez, Mason Falzev. UCLA, they got Bilodeau down low. This is one... Originally, I had UCLA. I think I'm going to actually go back and change this. We're going to take Utah State, who has had some success in March, and I think Utah State takes this one. Partly because I need some more upsets to be picked, so it's not just completely chalk, but I actually do think Utah State. I was going back and looking at this one last night, and I think Utah State does take this one, and then Tennessee over Wofford, Tennessee over Utah State. Utah State has good guards. They're not that good to beat Tennessee. And then whoever wins this Texas Xavier game, I think they can keep going. I think those are 2 really good teams. I think Texas does end up winning that game, and I think they can make a little bit of a run behind Trey Johnson and company. Texas is one of the bottom half of the SEC teams that I think is actually pretty solid. They could make a little bit of a run here, and like I said, you always have one of these 11-11 play-in games making it to the Sweet 16. I actually have 2 this year. I think both of those teams are kind of getting hot at the right time. They make it in, and they look pretty solid. I think their run-ins against Tennessee, though, who Tennessee's really good. Houston's going to beat Gonzaga. Gonzaga is not your normal Gonzaga team this year. I think they bottle up Ryan Nembhard. If you bottle up Ryan Nembhard, their entire offense gets shut down. He gives them so much. He gives them like 10 points and 10 assists a game. Houston's going to bottle that up. I'll take the Cougars. And then I got Clemson to beat High Point. High Point, they get the win against Purdue. I don't think they beat Clemson. Like I said, Clemson's a really good squad. Clemson could beat this Houston team, although this Houston team is really good. I need to know the availability of J'Wan Roberts because, honestly, that probably is the difference between me taking Clemson to win this game and me taking Houston to win this game. Houston is really athletic. They love to crash the glass. That's been their calling card all year long. Clemson has a really, really good guard in Chase Hunter. Jaden Zachary's not bad either. They got bigs down low. It's not easy to rebound against this Clemson team. I think I'm going to take Clemson here. Honestly, I had Houston early on. The injury to J'Wan Roberts scares me away from Houston. They don't have that guy. LJ Cryer's been good, but they don't have that guy, that Jamal Shed, that Marcus Sasser. They can just go out and give you 40, right? LJ Cryer's been good, but he's not as good as those guys. I think I'm going to have to take Clemson here. In what has been a good Houston team all year long, I don't think they can do to Clemson what they want to do to him because Chase Hunter is that good. You have posts down low with Locken. Shefflin can score. Chauncey Wiggins shoots 40% from 3, and he's 6'10", and can drive it. I'm going to take Clemson here to get this upset. Maybe that's a little ACC bias. I don't see it, though. I see Clemson. Maybe I'm crazy for saying they can make it to the Final Four, but I think they can. I don't think they will against Tennessee, but they definitely can in a perfect world for them. But like I said, I'm going to take Tennessee here. Tennessee looked pretty solid, right? Chaz Lanier. It's not your normal Tennessee team we've seen in the years before Dalton Connect. They figured out they need that score. Chaz Lanier is that guy. He gives you 18 a game. Zakai Ziegler's been really good. I think Zakai Ziegler actually does do a really good job on Chase Hunter here. Bottles him up. I'm going to take Tennessee. Maybe I'm crazy for taking Clemson over Houston. You let me know your thoughts down below. And then we're going to take Duke over Tennessee because, as I talked about, I think Duke's the best team in the country, and I think Duke's going to win the national championship. Over here, Florida beats Norfolk State. Not really a problem. Like I've been talking about the whole time, Jeremiah Fears is great. I think the bottom half of the SEC is completely overrated. We're going with UConn. Memphis over Colorado State. Colorado State's cool, right? They got Nick Clifford. They got a couple of guys on the squad. And if Tyrese Hunter doesn't play, I might come back and change this. And it doesn't look like Tyrese Hunter is going to play as of now. But PJ Haggerty, Dane Danger. This is a solid Memphis squad. I got to go with my gut and take Memphis here. Colorado State's good. I think Memphis is better. Maryland Grand Canyon. I feel like Tyon Grant Foster fell off. He was averaging like 20-7 coming into March Madness this year. Maybe he's just getting bottled up. Jacoby Cole's TCU transfer. They're cool. I just don't think they have the front court depth to battle with Maryland. Maryland's big issue is they don't have depth at all, but I still think they make it past a banged-up Memphis team with no Tyrese Hunter. I think Florida takes care of UConn easy. I think Florida is the second best team in the country, only behind Duke. I think they take care of Maryland as well. I think Florida, great defense, electric offense. This is a really good Florida team. Florida and Duke are two of the better college basketball teams I've seen in the last 5 or so years. Now, this is a game I got no clue. I want to go Missouri. Missouri's got a really good offense. Drake does as well. Drake has a really good defense as well. Drake is long, athletic, and honestly, I wouldn't hate you for taking the Bulldogs. I'm going to go Missouri, right? I lied. We're going Drake. Give me Drake. Bennett Sturts and Company. This is a squad from Drake. They got... I lied. We're going Missouri. Mark Mitchell, Caleb Grill, and company. Honors, the dog, or not Honor, the other guard they got is really good. Give me Missouri to beat Drake. As much as I want to take Drake, I can't get carried away like I did last year with taking all these underdogs. Give me Texas to beat UNC Wilmington. Wilmington's a cool little squad, but I'm going to have to take Texas Tech. Kansas, Arkansas. This is an interesting one, right? We talked about it with Bill Self and John Calipari going at it. Arkansas just like down the stretch. What are we doing? Right? They haven't won a big time game in like over a month. Kansas doesn't really have guards. Boogie Flang could be back. I want to go with Kansas for now. This could be one to come back and change later. And then Omaha. I liked Omaha a lot. I think Omaha is really good. I don't think they beat St. John's, but there's actually like 2 15 seeds that I thought about taking this year with Omaha and Bryant, who coming into the tournament, I was hoping they'd get maybe a 14 seed. If we were lucky, maybe a 13 seed, and they could get a good matchup. Like if either Omaha or Bryant was playing Kentucky, I'd absolutely take them. But, and no offense to Kentucky, they're just really banged up right now. And, I don't think Omaha has a chance in the world of beating St. John's. And just like with this game, neither one of them is beating St. John's. So I'm going to take St. John's over Kansas and then Texas Tech over Missouri. Again, I might come back and change this to Drake and Arkansas coming out of these two games. Whatever you want to do, obviously, it's up to you. Either way, I could go either way here. Same thing with this Colorado State game. This region is very underrated. It's really tough to decide. And then St. John's, I think, beats Texas Tech. Actually, no, I lied. I got Texas Tech here. This is a good Texas Tech team. JT Toppin, I'll take him over Zuby Ejiofor. RJ Lewis and Kadari Richmond are good. I think St. John's luck comes to an end. They've been winning 2 3-point games all year long. I think this is a loaded up Texas Tech squad with JT Toppin, Darion Williams, Chance, forget his last name, but he can shoot it. This is a good Texas Tech team. I'm going to take them over St. John's. And then we got Florida. Like I said, Florida's one of the best teams in the country. I'm tempted to take Clemson just to make this look like reasonable, not straight 1 and 2 seeds, but I'm going to go Tennessee for now, and we're going to go Florida over Michigan State. Duke, Florida, I feel very confident. Like, I'd put $200 or $300 on it right now that Duke and Florida make it to at least the Final Four and probably the national championship. In this game, I think Here's why I'm taking Duke. One, I think they've been the best team in the country for the last 3 months. Cooper Flagg's the best player in the country. Zion James and Tyrese Proctor, the starting guards for Duke, 6'6" and 6'6". Walter Clayton and Elijah Martin, the starting guards for Florida, 6'2" for Clayton. I've seen him listed as 6'1", and then 6'2", 6'3" for Elijah Martin. That's why I'm going Duke. They got bigger guards. They can really frustrate you defensively. No Malik Brown hurts, which is why I could see you taking Florida here. I'm going to go with Duke. We'll go with like 151. And yeah, that's my bracket. Y'all let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. I hope you did enjoy today's video. I know it got a little bit long, but with that being said, thank you so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. If you want to see more March Madness content, let me know down in the comment section below. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching.